Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Between the Benches, end of the second round. It's been a little bit since we've talked about this. Jake's been out of the country, I was out of the state, but we're back together in the studio. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Between the Benches. And I'm playing the Twitch broadcast on my phone. Look at that.
Put him in the bathroom.
Wow. All right, thanks for playing that in the background, phone. So, it's the end of the second round, pretty much. And we're going to go right in on this because the first set of teams, the last set of teams to make it to the second round just so happens to be the first division and first set of team, just one team, that makes it out of the second round. So, surprisingly, Canada is a step ahead of everyone else right now after being so far behind. And we've watched Montreal win 7 straight now. Since we've talked to you last, they've eliminated 2 teams. So let's start with that, Jake. Yeah. Montreal and Toronto. Game 7 is like the only part we haven't talked about.
They did it again.
Yeah. The Leafs.
They did it again.
The Leafs did it again.
Oh, and you can't even blame referees like this time. Like you tried to the past, I guess, 4 years.
You blame Tavares hitting the post once. You blamed, Jake Gardiner.
Yeah. You blamed Jake Gardiner twice. Like, how many scapegoats are you going to make before you recognize the real problem that we try to tell you? I mean, nobody listens to us.
Well, apparently this many times because we've seen the media get on some of these guys.
They're cannibalizing the wrong dude. You are too.
Well,
this one we're pretty divided about.
Yes, this one we are. Well, sort of. Sort of. We're not entirely divided about this, but it's consensus at this point that Toronto has attitude issues. And who gets blamed is kind of
everybody besides the person who has the actual attitude issues.
Yeah, that's the controversy.
Gets arrested, doesn't tell the team.
I forgot about that.
It's the only reason why the man's not captain.
I forgot about that. So Mitch Marner's really the one going down right now in I guess the media.
It's like how many people are you going to shoot, or is Austin Matthews going to get shot for him?
Well, the media did say the thing to Austin Matthews. I don't know any of the reporters that said it, but he did bring up that one in the press conference saying, the top however many paid athletes in this sport don't make it past the first round or haven't made it to the playoffs, and tried to, it really wasn't even a question.
It wasn't even really like singling him out at all, though.
Well, it kind of was.
Everybody's been holding his water for him.
They straight up dissed him to his face on that one.
But if you seen anybody in the media from now, like they're like, oh, Austin Matthews, he's just a stone cold killer. Look, Marner was nervous. I'm like, Austin's face expression doesn't change because he doesn't care. It's not a product of caring too much, is what I say with Marner's which people have seen as Marner's problem, seeing that he got nervous. I see as him caring too much.
I guess that's fair, yeah. There were some bad video clips of him, putting no effort into plays, behind the plays and stuff like that. We've seen enough of that from Matthews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically spin the wheel on that team, and that's everybody, because of the emotional leader.
Yeah.
The guy they wanted to make captain.
But I feel like now people are starting to see the whole, you pay a limited amount of players on your team so much money.
Someone on the big core is getting traded.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be... Well, one, it's not going to be Matthews, which is the only one that will make a difference.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be Matthews.
I don't think it's going to be any of the forwards either.
Really?
I expect Morgan Rielly to not be a Leaf next year.
I could see that. Morgan Rielly's had a pretty... It was good when he was producing points.
Well, no, it's not even that.
But now he's not even...
It's not even that he's bad. It's just that he's going to be another cap casualty to Austin Matthews.
100%.
And Marner and...
Yeah.
like because they can't afford to keep him, especially with because they're gonna have to protect him for the expansion draft, which then makes them have to do a 4-4, not the 7-3.
Mm-hmm.
So getting him out early, I mean, they don't really have to. I don't think they have to get rid of anybody this offseason, to be honest. They could run it back exactly the same, commit the same mistakes, and then blow it up.
I think there's going to be panic moving.
Oh, I see a panic move, but
100%.
They're all going to be wrong. Whatever panic move they make, it'll be wrong because it's not
well,
number 34.
In definition, a panic move is never okay. That never goes well. But yeah, 100%.
I don't like. They have like all right. From everything I've seen from their media in the past week since their loss, it's made us look like prophets from the start of the season to start of the playoffs. Like, you added grit thinking it's what you needed, and all it did was give you an identity crisis.
Yes, sir.
You're putting Band-Aids on a sinking ship because you won't address the real issue. Yep. Now you're scapegoating. Once again, it was Nylander. It was Tavares missing the net. It was whomever, and not Mr. 34. And that they don't care. It's a mental thing. It has never once been physical toughness is their problem. There are two ways to win in the NHL. There is what I like to call the lightning way, which is we are just better than you. We have more elite talent.
Yes.
And then there's the Boston way, which is hard work and commitment to the little things. The 100%. Blues won that way.
100%.
The Caps won that way.
Yep.
But you both can win if you just have a commitment to do the things that need to win and not think about yourself, which is what the Leafs have failed to grasp. I think if they honestly run it back and just smack the dude upside the head and tell him to figure it out, this team can win. But they won't. So that's why I keep saying they won't win.
And they did the thing where they brought in leaders.
Yeah, and they're just all old and can't play.
Yeah,
yeah, Simmons and Thornton are really going to help you. Yeah. Spets is the only one who's actually worth anything.
And he's the one that took a pretty team-friendly deal, and he actually made a difference in the playoffs. Yeah.
Honestly, the guy I see them trading is Nylander. Again, I think it's going to come up again. I think that
would be so insane.
I think that talking point's going to come up again.
So insane, and honestly, wherever he lands, he's going to make a difference.
Oh, because he's
Nylander with Jonathan Tavares not on the ice. I think Nylander was by far the best performing player on that team during that series, hands down.
It's sad that with two players, they won't win. Tavares went down, Muzzin went down. They're done.
Yeah, Muzzin was a...
If Muzzin's not playing, they're done. It happened exactly the same thing last year. They were winning the series. Muzzin gets hurt. They lose all the next ones.
Yep. And Muzzin...
Because he's their only real defender.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to help them. They were better defensively this year. They played better team defense.
Yes.
But it's up here. It's all up here.
Yeah, I mean, that's Toronto. But they're not here anymore. Let's move on. Montreal and Winnipeg. First of all, we talked about Winnipeg. We talked about Winnipeg shutting out Edmonton. But Montreal and Winnipeg. I picked Winnipeg in however many games I picked them in. But Montreal, 4 straight.
I can't remember our picks for the second round, to be honest.
I believe you picked...
I know I picked Montreal.
You picked Montreal probably in like 5 or 6.
I think I said 6. I wanted to go shorter.
Yeah.
Not 4, but I think I wanted to do 5, and I questioned it, so I went 6. I think that's what I did.
Yeah, but you were feeling the whole Montreal thing. After feeling the whole... Well, you see how Montreal came into the playoffs. And there was that one picture we saw earlier today that I sent you. Where it was... You don't remember that?
No.
Where it was like it was Montreal in the regular season, and then it was like stupid pictures of them, and then it was Montreal in the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs, and it's like jacked Mark Bergevin. Yeah, that's exactly how that went. To be honest with you, Montreal really shows up in the playoffs.
Well, it's that they have the DNA to win.
Yes, 100%.
They were our number one team pick in going into the season.
Yeah.
In this division.
In Canada, yeah.
Like, we've been pretty spot on about that division. Winnipeg, we all adopted early.
Well, okay, talk about you and I. Jason started putting Ottawa in
He's an
places
intern.
and stuff. Yeah.
The only one that I think we were wholly wrong about was Calgary, which I think most of
Well,
both countries were wrong about.
yeah, that's fair. That bubble burst in the regular season, not the playoffs this year. So, yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Montreal
that's
is just
gotta
a
be-
good team. Like, this should not be surprising.
I don't know why they went through what they went through in the regular season. I don't know
Because
if
they
it was,
panicked.
Yeah.
Like they
Well, that
always
was a part of it.
do.
Yeah.
If they just stayed the course, they would have been here anyway, without all the ups and downs. It's just, the emotional French are gonna emotional French. Like, that's just what they do. It hasn't burned them yet this year, so. I mean, let's see what happens. Like, it's gonna be a good team they get regardless.
Yeah, dude, this is the real test. Like, this is the real test. We've seen everywhere, and we've kind of said it ourselves that whoever comes out of Canada is going to get decimated in this next round. I think Montreal, I think they have a better chance than that.
What's scary is I don't really think we've seen monster Carey Price yet. I think we've had relatively middle of the road Price.
If they play Colorado, that's going to be a big deal. Carey Price needs to show up for a Colorado series, you know?
Well,
I have no doubt that he will. I'm just saying that's, I think, going to be the best Carey Price
I don't
we can
know
see.
if they have to, if it's just Colorado versus Montreal.
Yeah, but Colorado... Oh, if it's just Colorado instead of... I mean, I'll make that a transition right now. If we're done with Canada.
That rant has just gotten worse, and I just don't want to address it again.
I don't know. You addressed it last time, and I was going to make a point to be the one that addresses it this time because now I've had enough. But, I mean, it's consensus. You know, it's consensus. We talked about John Cooper talking about it. It's Bruce Cassidy who gets fined $25,000 for talking about it.
Not Jan Bednar. Jared Bednar saying how they didn't deserve to win any of those games.
Oh, dude.
Because they got outplayed every single one thoroughly, but they won because they got power plays.
Yeah, let's talk about this series. So Colorado loses the first game in their they win 6 straight playoff games to start the playoffs. And they lose their first game against Vegas. That was game 3. And Bednar went freaking in on this team. Bednar was like the only one performing on this team is our goalie. He's the only hard worker on this team. He went off. He was like, we could watch tape, but I already know how that's going to go. Like just roasted his team to their faces. And I expected them to come out great and win that game 5 just strictly because of, like, they have to be crapping their pants after him doing that, after he probably didn't even do it all season. And they lost decisively in game 4.
Grubauer almost got his whole game shots in the first period.
Yeah, dude. Not even a joke.
See, like
that blows my mind.
He had more than 20 shots against him, and he got lit up.
Yep, absolutely. And you see this, so, okay, this is a little bit off topic, and it's not something we need to talk about right now, but the Vezina candidates, right? You see their stat lines going, you see all 3 of the guys, their stat lines. There is something different when it comes to Grubauer's. One, his save percentage is great. No. His goals against average is great. Sorry. His goals against average is better than the rest. It's like 1 point something, right? But then you look at his save percentage, and it's much worse. And it's not terrible, but it's worse than the other two. And what does that tell you? That tells you he
Doesn't see any rubber the whole game.
Yep, he doesn't face that many shots a game. So, although his wins and the shutouts, he had like 7 shutouts. That's impressive, right? That is impressive.
He's new Matt Murray.
But I think he's better. But yeah.
Well, 2016 Murray, like this is the same exact thing.
Fair. That's fair.
This is the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But he, you put a lot of shots on the guy, and what do we have? We have what happened Game 4. And Vegas has played the hell out of every single one of these games, man. Every single one of these games. Game 1, I am excluding in my mind. I refuse to accept Game 1 because why, in God's name, does Pete DeBoer put in Robin Lehner after Fleury went through the whole series and won a series and he didn't look bad?
Because Pete DeBoer is going to Pete DeBoer?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Me and Jake still don't understand Pete DeBoer as a human and a coach. But nonetheless, he puts Fleury back in.
As a guy who keeps getting hired every time there's an opening.
And has success, though. Like brings them somewhere. I mean, San Jose to the finals. Vegas, here we are.
Vegas made the finals before him, has not since.
True. That's true. Nonetheless, though, I don't know. But, yeah. Vegas has played so well, and Colorado has gotten calls.
It's sad that in the two of the series so far in this round, the team that has consistently outplayed the other is down. Or not down, but they're losing games that they should not lose.
Yeah.
It just carries over our rant that we had before.
Yep. That's it. After watching Colorado's Game 2, I was, like, done. I was actually, in that 24-hour period... Well, we're not even going to talk about the Scheifele hit. But after that 24-hour period, I was...
We have to talk about that.
Okay.
I forgot about it because I wanted to block that from my memory.
Scheifele didn't deserve any games. If you want to call it an optics thing and give him a game, then I'll accept that, I guess, in this world's NHL league at the moment.
Tell me what rule he broke.
But... I couldn't even... I watched George Parros' thing, and I was like, his explanation video, and he was like, he didn't play the puck.
I was even more confused after the George Parros thing. Because
I just couldn't.
Tell me what he did wrong.
George Parros goes, he didn't make any effort to put his stick down and play the puck, and then the next sentence goes, although you don't have to play the puck to make a good hit. And I was like...
It's called, hey, Gary comes down to his office. George, we need to do something about this.
Yeah. This is an issue.
We look bad. We're gonna lose the lawsuit.
I went on the Twitter and this is it. I saw bad things and that's.
We're gonna lose the CTE lawsuit.
Yeah. And listen, Jake Evans. I hope the best to the guy. I don't even know where that is, like what he's doing and what his timeline is, but I wish the best to the guy. He filled in a spot pretty good when he did make the roster in the playoffs. But here's the thing, and this was the best point that was brought to me, and it was from a guy that I least expected it to be from, and that was John Scott, who I don't listen to. I make an effort not to listen to what he says nowadays.
Most people shouldn't. On most things that he says.
Yeah, he doesn't have, whatever.
He's not a smart man, let's just say that.
But, I don't know if we should be calling him out on that, but nonetheless. Right. Well, our analysis has gone pretty well so far. But, he said, if you want him to make a play on the puck, he needs to slow down and make a play on the puck, to make a play on the puck.
And he's not there.
If he slows down, he's not there. He's going that fast, what do you want the guy to do? John Scott was like, he's going that fast to get there, to try and get there before that puck goes in. It was also a one-goal
game.
Yeah, and it was a one-goal game. He tries to get there as fast as he can from 200 feet, by the way, because that was one goal line to the other goal line. He was making strides that entire time. What did you want him to do?
Coasted about a good 10 feet.
20 feet. I mean, like, coasted. and
Didn't leave his feet. Didn't put the elbow up. Made contact with the chest first.
Yes.
What else? That's a textbook hit.
absolutely.
It's textbook hit at a tremendous speed and still being clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example on how to do it right.
Yep.
It's unfortunate the result, and that's the only reason why he was suspended.
And our guy John Cooper said, message sending. It's in the game. That's a part of the game. He wants it to be a part of the game, and Mark Scheifele made it a part of that game.
This is something that we spoke about ad nauseum last season after the Niskanen thing on Gallagher. It's this whole optics result-based suspensions is going to set a terrible precedent.
Mm-hmm.
And what has happened this whole season, the Wilson one on Carlo, the guy goes to the hospital, but there were he was the first person in history to get suspended for boarding without breaking the boarding rule. By rule, it wasn't boarding.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate result, but things like that happen. It seems like the only thing that matters in the last 2 seasons
Is injury.
is injury.
Yep. 100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you actually broke the rules or did something that's suspendable. If someone gets hurt, you're suspended, even if you stayed perfectly legal.
So that Mark Scheifele hit, and within 24 hours, I watched that game 2 of Colorado, and I was just disgusted by the NHL at that point in time. The game 2 Colorado game was officiated terribly. Kind of gave Colorado the win. The overtime playoff or the overtime penalty was just so stupid. I
don't like
done.
being this constantly angry.
No. I also, as far as sports go, and talking about sports, I almost refuse to talk about reffing being an issue because
Same.
you have 60 minutes to do something, whether it be football, whether it be hockey, you know, the Saints stuff in football and the whatever happens in football. You have 4 downs over and over and over to do something on many drives to score. If one call isn't made, that doesn't decide the game. Same with hockey. One call doesn't decide, but it is so consistently bad that Bruce Cassidy is being fined for it. John Cooper
Bruce Cassidy
talked about it in a very, just tiptoeing the edge while he was talking about it. It's clearly consensus that this is an issue at the moment, and yeah. So.
Bruce Cassidy's interview or press conference and then fine. It's like the epitome of, why are y'all booing me? I'm right.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yep. And he didn't even say, okay, well, he didn't say the officials were technically wrong to call those penalties. He said the fact that they're only calling those penalties on one team
because they were,
and not the other team. And that's true, yeah. I agree. I watched that game, and I've watched a lot of these games and been
I hate Boston.
Disappointed.
I hate Boston sports.
Yes, you do.
And I felt bad for them last night. Like,
you also hate New York sports, just to put that out there.
I hate both of them. I would rather them both fall into the ice.
Yeah.
Like, I hate them both. But, like, come on. You are actively screwing them right now.
Yes.
That's what it looked like. The Islanders had no business even getting, like, shots in that first period, yet they're 1-1 leaving it.
Yeah. The Bruins played such a great game last night. The fact that they did not win and the fact that that game went the way it went blows my mind.
Yeah, there's some colorful language I can't say about it in the private messages, but...
And then, so we're talking about the Colorado-Vegas series at the moment, which that's been the theme. And Vegas has, let's get down to actual hockey here. Vegas has outplayed the hell out of Colorado. And I really like what they've done so far. And Game 4, they really, really brought it. It seems like they've gotten stronger every single game. Was it after Game 4 or after Game 3 that, like, Vegas basically, someone on Vegas, I think it might have been DeBoer, was like, that's the best playoff game we've played. And he was pretty much right as far as this playoffs went.
Well, the best sign for them is that they are getting to the front of the net and consistently making Grubauer actually work.
Yes. And you know what, though? Okay. I'm not terribly fond of how Colorado plays defense, right? Like, the defensemen...
I'm not particularly fond on how they play, period.
Fair. But I will say, every time I see Vegas players parked in front of the net, Colorado defensemen are actually always doing something about it, whether it be a net battle, whether it be trying to clear it. I will give them credit on that because there's a lot of teams.
If you're not clearing the porch at this point in the season, you're not here.
Yeah.
Look at the Leafs.
That's fair.
Yeah, if you're letting people stand in front of your goaltender at this point in the season, you probably didn't even make it here.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Toffoli goal.
Yeah. And what a guy, by the way, Toffoli, finding a home for the first time. Like, really, I think truly, maybe I'm speaking too soon because who knows. But
the dude had a solid career in LA.
No, he did, but then he kind of just left.
He got trade deadlined when the team was sinking.
Yeah, and Vancouver, and I thought that might be his place, but then now he gets another chance, and I think Montreal is like a real home for him. And I'm just happy to see it. I mean, the dude, he's like a first liner now, and he's going off, and good for him. But nonetheless, Colorado and Vegas. What else is there more to say? I mean, I would love to see Vegas do it.
If Vegas doesn't win this series, there's a problem.
Yeah, unless Colorado changes something up because...
Yeah, if the series keeps playing out this way and Vegas loses the series, there needs to be changes made to the how the NHL operates.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because you cannot essentially win every single game yet lose a series.
Yeah. And yeah, I just like if Bednar went off, is it Bednar? Bednar. If Bednar went off on his team after one loss, and then they go out there and get like
roasted even worse.
Yeah, way roasted in Game 4 by Vegas. I want to know how this game is gonna go. Game 5 because something has to have changed in that team, and if not, then he's not getting through, or they're just not capable of it, or something. Because I mean, that guy, I respect the hell out of him for acting that way, and I think that was the perfect reaction he should have had on a team that's been this good and been this favorited. For them to just finally not have success in one game, and him react like that, I think is awesome. I respect the hell out of it.
It's a good mindset.
Oh, absolutely is. I think that was the right way to do it, but then they didn't respond still. So I don't know. I really expected them to respond in that Game 4, and they really didn't. So interesting. But we look forward to that next game. I mean, that's a best out of 3 series right now. So let's move on from that to Tampa and Carolina. We've talked about the other 3 in like off-topic ways. We have not talked about Tampa and Carolina.
Well, I mean, it's Tampa. I keep saying it, but like...
Yeah, it's Tampa.
Ah, man, like... See, the difference with this one versus the others is like... The team, it's like... It's a good series, plus like the team that deserves to win the game, plays better, is, winning.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Tampa Bay is, like you said, Tampa Bay. They drove right through Florida, almost like it was nothing.
Pretty much have almost driven through Carolina.
Pretty much. I mean, Carolina looks a hell of a lot better than Florida against them, but they're not matched.
Well, it's hard to be worse than Florida was against them. They just weren't ready.
Yes.
They really weren't ready.
That was, I think, a case of like, oh, we did so good in the regular season, we got this. And it was like, nah, dude, Tampa Bay played for this one, not for those regular season games. Like, they're here and they're used to this. You're not. and they just didn't. But Carolina, on the other hand, I mean, by the way, I learned this today, and it's absolutely impressive to me. Jacob Slavin playing the role he does on this team, and Dougie Hamilton was out this year a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's at certain points.
It's every year, but Jacob Slavin, this whole season and playoffs, playing as many minutes as he does, top defenseman against top players, has only taken one penalty all season. That's impressive for a guy doing that much.
I don't really see Carolina get called in general.
No, I guess that's fair.
A lot of their games are pretty low calls.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, I mean, Jacob Slavin deserves a lot of credit. I mean, that defense tries, and Jacob Slavin, he makes a big difference for this team. You see that when he's not in these games. Some of that happened in round one, and then he came back, and it makes a difference. And I got to give Carolina credit because they have done well in these playoffs, but Tampa Bay, man, I mean, it's just, that's it. So I'm trying to be positive for Carolina here, but I don't see this series not being over.
Well, once Tampa added Maroon, Coleman, Goudreau, and along with the humiliation of losing, like, they have become so hard to beat.
Absolutely.
They added exactly that mindset stuff that they were missing, and those players, like, they go out and they have those great shifts where they just don't enter the defensive zone.
Yeah.
Sets up easy face-offs and just lets the top guys eat.
Yep.
Like, you can say how they don't contribute, per se. Like, if you look at last year's stats, and then this year, it's still the same. Kucherov, point, driving the bus, and then a huge drop-off to anybody else. But why is that? It's because the other guys are just so good at making sure that the forecheck stays in the offensive zone that they're getting to have all the set plays they want.
And this is also a team with the core. Like, that core has been together. And it's not like that core is just star players. You're talking about that core doing dirty work, like Alex Killorn, Palat, those guys that are like a little bit underrated on this team because they're not Kucherov and they're not Braden Point.
Johnny Gord, I would say, is a pretty good core player.
100%. And these guys, I mean, they're all willing to do absolutely whatever on the ice.
Plus, McDonough's a core player. He's not going to get a ton of points.
No, yeah. No, but I'm saying the core of this team, like Killorn, Palat, they've all been there 5+ years now, and that's on the low end. But yeah, that's the difference between when you say that Tampa Bay is literally just too good. It's because everyone on that team does everything. You know, you don't have Toronto.
Well, because
where that's totally not the case. You know, I mean, like, you could have star players that produce points, but
because they're led. I still, to this day, whenever you talk about their star players, their leader, it's not Stamkos. It hasn't been for a couple years. It's Braden Point.
Yeah.
For the forwards.
Like, yeah, and then you have Victor Hedman,
who's also amazing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the teams are too good, dude. We're just
like Braden Point. What doesn't that guy do?
Yeah. Face-offs has been fantastic. I mean, everything, dude. Everything. Just is.
But I'm sorry, he doesn't have a monster shot, so therefore he's a bum.
Yeah, let's move past that series because we're just going to talk about how good Tampa Bay is at this point. East, Boston, Islanders. It really, I mean, I think it's been a good series, despite the reffing. I still think it's been reasonably fun to watch.
Well, because there's chances everywhere for Boston because the perfection line has had the absolute run of the mill. They
really have, dude. I mean, it's insane. I don't know why they don't capitalize or why they don't hit every single chance. Like it happened in Washington too. They had so many chances that they just didn't go in the net. I don't know how they're not going in the net, but they just, dude, if all their chances went in the net,
if
it'd be absolutely insane.
Of their their chances hit the net. They're winning every game 10-1.
It's insane. Like the NHL would need a mercy rule if they scored on all their chances. I don't know how they're not.
I don't understand
but-
how they didn't win that game after the first period, the last one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let alone how it ended 1-1. Like that is just a travesty.
Yeah.
The fact that didn't happen. And I wouldn't even say that Varlamov even had a great game. There were a lot of missed chances. And like all the point blank stuff, they missed the net, and then he just got all the side stuff from the angles. And then, Islanders went 3 for 4 on 4 shots on the power play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's the win.
But I mean, Boston's completely, utterly dominating the physical side of this game. I mean, they're
dominating every side of this game, besides special teams.
Yeah, and they're not even
forecheck, back check.
I mean, they're kind of. It's hard to say they're not entirely dominating special teams when they've only let up 4 shots on that many power plays in a game.
But 3 of them went in.
3 of them went in. That's the only part that matters.
They were 3 for 3 before Boston even had a power play.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's mostly the issue I have.
In the second
period.
period.
And it was like taps on the wrist after letting people getting lit up all game.
Yep.
Like you called the whole first period, let everything go. I'm like, this looks good. This is a playoff game. This is going to be fun. You call NBC phones down like, we need to actually have a game here because Boston's going to run him out of the building. Tap on the hand. And we're 1-1.
I'm actually going to change a mindset of mine live at the moment because I think you're going to be a little bit shocked I'm about to say this, but I'm going to give some credit to Matt Barzal a little bit. One, because they are all over him for the last 2 games, like all over him. I mean, everywhere. When he's on the ice, he's getting
the reason
hammered.
why the second line is doing what they're able to do for Boston too. It's not just the perfection line. Taylor Hall, Krejci
yeah, that's fair.
Have absolutely run 5-on-5 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying somehow Matt Barzal isn't rattled after
He was rattled in that game.
the most previous game.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I didn't see that.
That
part.
whole team was rattled until they were given the power play.
That's fair.
They were panic throwing passes up the boards because they were hearing footsteps within 10 minutes.
Well, Game 3,
Like it was getting ugly early.
I watched Game 3 pretty intently, and I was pretty surprised that Matt Barzal was still able to do what he did while getting like absolutely hammered by Boston. David Krejci gave him a nice cup check. That was totally worth $5,000 if I were him. But yeah, this is like the first time I've ever said anything nice about Matt Barzal. So, I mean, dude's extremely talented. I just
Flash in the pan.
flash in the pan. That's the best way to put it. Flash in the pan. He's great with the puck half the time. The other half the time he
moving forward.
turns it over. Yeah, and he's finally showed up in these playoffs. It's taken him like 7 games. But yeah, I don't know. Boston's really going on him, like targeting him specifically, like we're bullying you this game, and they're doing it successfully.
Bullying everybody.
They
I
are.
don't think it's really just him. They're just like, you have the puck, you're dying.
But that's how Boston plays. This is why they're as good as they are.
That was like the first period was looking like a quintessential Boston route on how they just destroy teams.
Yeah. But this is probably the team I'd have the absolute most faith in a series to be down a game, 3-2 in the series and be able to battle back and win the series. Boston would absolutely be the team I'd have the most faith in against the Islanders. So I think the series is still far from over, even though it could only have 1 game left. It's going to be a hard-fought game for sure, and Boston's not going to let it happen easy. So I really look forward to the rest of this series, and that kind of wraps it up. I mean, the next thing we have to talk about in general is Montreal versus either Vegas or Colorado. Because Montreal's set, and we know it's going to be one of those two teams. So, that's kind of our next preview. But we have some time on that because we have guaranteed 2 games with Vegas and Colorado. So that's an end of the week type of thing right there. Other than that, it's possible after this podcast that Tampa Bay wins their series. They're up 2-0 with 10 minutes left against the Hurricanes. So at this point of recording this, so it's pretty likely.
That second one just happened.
Did it really? Like, just happened. Yeah, it just happened. Look at that. Within the last minute. So, everyone, thank you very much. You could go on Instagram where currently Jake is being proven right. We're finding our
Both
clips.
of us, but like...
Yeah, but there's moments where you're like locked in. Like we already posted one where it was about the perfection line, and then the next night David Pasternak responds
a hat
with,
trick.
Yeah, a hat trick. So yeah, I love that now. This stuff's on YouTube, so we could post it in ways like that. But
I just like the fact that I took a beating supporting Montreal all season.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I'm just sitting here just with my, like, my I was right face.
You and I, it's kind of funny. This is not even topic at all right now, but last playoffs, last summer, there were times, like, after we were done recording, you and I, for some reason, looked so hard into Montreal, and we were like, wow, this team can do a lot in the offseason.
They literally won.
And they did.
The moment the turnaround happened when Weber was finally healthy enough to go back with Sherratt.
Yeah, that too.
Like, from that moment on, you couldn't see Matthews or Marner. They were invisible.
But no, I'm saying this past offseason.
I know, but that was like a big reason why I believe in this team is they have the matchup, the matchup guys. They have the skill guys. They have the work guys. They have the goaltender.
Yeah, they have the recipe.
And then they have the wear you out defenseman.
Yes. But yeah. So thank you everyone very much for watching, listening, and we'll see you at the end of the week when we have some round 3 to preview. And after that, it's only 2 series. So, and then we're down in the finals. Everyone, enjoy this week of hockey, and we'll see you next time.